Hey everybody, Aaron Blaise here, and it is Friday, January 17th, and we are back for another live stream. Yay. Just like every Friday. Yeah, say that again.
Yay!
Yeah, there you go. And we got a special treat. So we're going to work on Snow Bear today. I've been working on Snow Bear the last couple days, cutting together some boards, and I want to do a couple of layouts. And so I thought I'd show you some of the stuff that we're doing on that. I'm going to show you the first minute and a half of Snow Bear. I don't want to show any of the rest because I want to keep it a surprise. But I'll show you a little bit of Snow Bear today. But I want to really thank everybody that came out on Monday, and we did our benefit for Australia and their fires and everything else. That was Monday, right?
Yeah, that was Monday.
That was Monday.
That was correct.
And because of all of your generosity, we were able to raise over $3,800. That's $3,800 we raised.
Holy camole.
Yep, and so we split that evenly, and we gave half of it to WIRES, which is an emergency wildlife organization in Australia, and then we also gave half of it to the Australian Red Cross. So we're helping out people and animals. So it made us feel really good, and we had a lot of fun. We drew a lot of Australian wildlife, and I learned some stuff. We did animation, we did character design. All kinds of stuff. It was fun.
Very nice.
Yes. And I've got my water. Stay hydrated, my friends.
Stay hydrated.
Mm-hmm. And also, I want to announce, we just announced it on Facebook, but I want to announce to you guys, if you haven't heard yet, Ronnie Williford and myself, if you don't know Ronnie is one of the greatest painters I know. And he and I did a painting workshop together in Manchester, England, specifically at Peckforton Castle for 4 days back in July. And it was a huge success. We had a great time. And we decided, let's do it again, but let's keep it domestic. And we have such a great area here in Florida and over on the Gulf Coast, over in Sarasota. So, on March 13th through the 16th, March 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th, that's 4 days. That's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We are going to be teaching a plein air painting workshop over in Sarasota, Florida. We're going to be at the Ringling Museum, which has some of the most beautiful grounds in the area. Giant banyan trees. It's right on Sarasota Bay. We got the Cadazan, which is the home of John Ringling, which is a beautiful paintable building, absolutely stunning. We got the Ringling Art Museum, which is one of the largest collections of Baroque art in the United States, if not the largest, I think. Plus some really beautiful stuff. We're going to be painting over at Selby Gardens, which is a beautiful botanical gardens over once again on the bay. And then we're going to be going out to Lido Key, South Lido, where we got some beautiful beach paintings that we can do. And then we're trying to work up a few other surprises in there as well. So if you're interested in that, that's going to be March 13th through 16th. Go over to creatureartteacher.com/SRQ, which is the airport code for Sarasota.
Ah, gotcha.
In Bradenton. So go over to creatureartteacher.com
Datcap.
I was going to say dash. I don't know where the dash came from. creatureartteacher.com/SRQ. Not to be confused with SRV, because that's Stevie Ray Vaughan. And we don't want to take up Stevie Ray Vaughan's territory. So that's SRQ. And
by the way,
we're going to be doing a lot of great stuff.
Pan down your webcam a little bit here.
How's that? Is that better?
Hey, you look perfect.
Is that better?
Just pan it down just a tad. There you go.
Yeah.
You were a little low to the...
How's that? Is that better?
Perfect. It's just the eyes. That's all we need. We just need the eyes.
Yeah.
There you go. That's better.
And so anyway, without further ado, as usual, I've got Dustin at my side, my son. Say hi, Dustin.
Hi. I forgot to plug in the camera.
Dustin didn't plug in the camera.
Whoopsies. Well, I hope it still works.
And we've got Nick Birch over in Sarasota, Florida. My business partner and buddy. Nick just turned 40 last week on the 8th.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Good for him.
January 8th, he turned 40.
Nice.
It's all downhill from there, bud. Sorry.
Let's see if this works now. There we go. Hey. Hi. Sorry about that.
So we got Dustin on my right. We got Nick on my at my immediate 1 o'clock. I guess, about 1 o'clock.
Ish.
But ish. About 160 miles away.
By the way, you forgot something.
What I forget? Patreon. Oh, Patreon. Yeah, we'll get to Patreon later. We'll get to Patreon later. You can always check out my Patreon page. I'm going to check. I'll talk about that later. I just want to get. I want to get into what we're doing today.
All right, then. On with the show.
Man, I love delicious ice water. It's just the most delicious thing in the world.
It is delicious.
So we are in the middle of storyboarding, and we've got a couple of. Nick is everywhere. Nick's he's messaging me right now. But we've got. I've got a little bit cut together. It's all temp music. It's all slugged in animation. It's at this stage, for those of you that are part of the animation world, you know at the early stages, even though we've been working at this for a couple of years, we haven't really been working at it. It's just been sitting for a couple of years. But I just jumped on pulling together all the boards. We've got some very rough boards in there. We've got some finished boards. We've got some very rough animation. We got a little of everything. We got very temp score. Rough sound effects, all that kind of stuff. But I want to show you the first, let's say, minute or so. A minute and a half. And it's really just establishing Snow Bear and his loneliness. As you know, we're making Snow Bear, and it's about a bear who lives in the Arctic. And he's lonely. He lives this lonely existence. And he finally can't take it anymore. And so he decides to make a snow bear. Excuse me. I'm all burpy. Burpy. So he decides to make a snow bear to keep himself company. And it's all the little adventures that he and his snow bear friend go on. It's a sweet little story. It's something we've been developing for a while. Nick and I are really behind it. We are really loving it. And this year we are really putting some energy behind it to try to get it done. But let me show you just the first minute and a half. It's going to be about 8 minutes long, and it's a sweet little story. But I want to show you our little guy and how he establishes loneliness.
Some folks are asking where Pocahontas is at.
Did you switch to this?
The audio's picking it up.
Playing very clunky right now. Ooh, what happens next? So that's our little intro of Snow Bear and his loneliness. Nothing sadder than a Snow Bear doing snow angels by himself, huh?
Yeah.
Doesn't have anyone to share it with.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff going on, so my computer's having a hard time keeping up. So some of it got a little clunky in there.
And someone was asking who made the music.
Oh, that's just temporary score. I'm grabbing music from other movies, and so that is actually score from Castaway. So
Really?
I was looking for. I said I typed in. I said I want lonely score, and Castaway came up, and I went, oh, that's got to be great,
Well, there's nothing lonelier than Castaway.
Exactly, and so I wanted to find out, and I listened to it, and it was exactly what I was looking for. We do that in all of our movies and even in our big films at Disney, Lion King. I remember we had Hans Zimmer, who actually ended up scoring Lion King, but we had taken the editorial staff had taken the stuff that he had done from The Mission. A movie called The Mission, and it was during the scene where Mufasa has died and Simba's trying to wake him up. And this is all in pencil test before the score had been done, so they were using the score from The Mission, and it was in there for like a year and a half before we ended up getting the real score.
Yeah.
And The Mission is so emotional, and it really worked well with Mufasa's death. And so when they put the real one in there, which actually works well, and I've gotten used to it over the 25 years that it's been there, it was so jarring, and I was just like, oh, I want the old one back, but it was already part of another movie. But it's something that we do when we're storyboarding. We'll take score from other movies, we take sound effects, we put it all in there so we can get a sense of what the movie's going to feel like. And so, and then also just real quick, when I do meet with a composer to score the film, they'll have a sense of the mood that I'm looking for. Sometimes composers will want to hear what's already there. Other times they won't. A lot of times we'll strip it out so they can just watch it, and then we'll talk about the mood we're looking for, so they're not influenced by other artists. So it depends on the composer.
So it's similar to that of scratch voices for voice actors and all that, right?
What's that?
How you, like, for storyboarding, you bring in random people to scratch voice certain characters.
Yes, and we'll bring in random people to scratch voice before we have the actual actors. In this case, we don't have any dialogue.
Right. I did scratch voices one time.
Yes, you did. Dustin has done scratch for us before. So let me play it one more time for you. I don't know if it'll play any smoother.
How many hours did it take to make 8-minute long film?
How many hours does it take? Well, it's for us to finish it. There's going to be 3 of us. I'm going to be doing all the animation. It'll take me at least a year, 9 months to a year to animate it. That's just to animate
8 minutes.
it. Yeah, to do 8 minutes. Yeah, it's a lot of work. But we're going to do it all ourselves, and we'll see where it goes. But like I said, let me play this. Let me play this beginning for you again. It's going to be, like I said, it's a little clunky, but hopefully it'll play a little better.
Who did the sounds of the bear? Dustin?
No, those are real bears. I went online and found real bears.
The best bears. They're way too full screen.
Oops. Oh, God. Let me go back. Yeah, hold on, let me stop it real quick because first of all, I want to save it. And let me if I render it, it'll play better. Where's the render, Nick? It'll probably take too long to render it all.
We might not have had the time.
Yeah. Da, 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 da. I forget where render is. 'Cause I don't usually render everything. I work straight ahead. Help me out, Nick, or anybody else.
Nick, help me
render.
Nick, help me out.
Make a project.
Hey y'all, what software is the storyboard in? TVPaint?
No, actually, I just storyboard in Photoshop and then bring everything over into
Premiere Pro?
Premiere Pro, yeah. Oh, render. Oh, there we go. Render entire work area. Let's see how long it's going to take to render. A few minutes. Render into out. Render into out.
Into out?
Render. So, while we're doing that, I'm going to jump over to, I want to show you some stuff. While that's rendering, it's going to take about 15 minutes. I'm going to jump over to here. Now, one of the things we're doing is, I'm just going to render the whole thing. I figure it'll just take a few minutes. One of the things we're doing is we're setting Snow Bear in a very specific place. It's Baffin Island. It's northern Canada, right to the left, west of Greenland. It's one of the most dramatic, beautiful Arctic landscapes you can ever find, and it's insanely beautiful. They have polar bears up there. It's insanely dramatic. It's crazy. Oh, unknown error. There we go. Let me just see if I can play it. Don't know why. It's right here that it bugs me because it won't play the. Won't play him coming up. Oh, he's playing now. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go back. We'll play it for you one more time.
Full screen?
Yes, I got it.
You got it.
All right, you ready?
Ready. Sound of that thud.
Oh, that's one sad, lonely polar bear. Now, what's going to happen now?
Good question.
So that's the first minute and 40 seconds or so, and let's see, it's the first minute and 50 seconds. So that's us establishing our lonely bear, and then next thing you know, he's going to make a snow bear. So the first thing, what I wanted to do today was just do a couple of layouts, so some of those opening big dramatic shots, and so that's what I was talking about earlier. Baffin Island. Let's get back to Baffin Island. So Baffin Island, Baffin Island, is just an incredibly beautiful, dramatic place. Very iconic mountains. And so I thought it would be fun to create a layout for that today for you guys and show you kind of the way I think about it. What the layout's going to have, I'm going to do one or two of the establishing shots that don't have any bears in them. We're just going to have blowing effects. That first shot you saw had some blowing trees in it. And since I've done that shot, when I boarded that, we've decided to make it Baffin Island, which really doesn't have any trees to speak of because it's above the tree line, I believe. So I'm really just going to make it big. I want this, what we want this world to feel like is big, dramatic, but also kind of stark and empty. Yes, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to explain the usual layout process, or at least for 2D animation. I'll probably go against it a little bit just because I'm going to be doing all the layout, the background painting, and the animation myself. But normally, once we approve a section of storyboarding into production, the first step that it needs to go through is what's called workbooking. And workbooking is really where you take those storyboards and you plan out not just the composition of what the layout is going to be, but you're also planning out your camera moves if you have any. And so basically, once you have a sequence of that, you'll end up with what's called a workbook that has basically thumbnails of all of the storyboards, but done in the way that the layout is going to look with all the camera directions in there. Then from there, the layout artist will use that workbook as reference for doing the final layouts, and they'll put in the final camera directions within that layout. Okay, and then from there, and that's just those are just the drawings. This is for 2D animation. So those are just the drawings. And then from there, the layout will go to background painting, and then also to character animation, or in this case, effects animation, because there's not going to be any characters in them. It's just going to be blowing snow. And so the background will be painted along with the character animation, or in this case, the effects animation. And if there's anything where a character needs to register to anything in the background, then normally the background painter will wait for that animation to be done so that they can make sure to paint to wherever, like if a character is grabbing onto a rock or a handle or walking along a ground plane that's very specific, they'll wait till that animation is done to make sure that it matches up. So they'll match to the animation. All right, so so today I'm just going to be going, and I want to take some of this drama right here, and I want the shapes to be big, kind of sweeping. The art direction is what I want. Big, sweeping, kind of monolithic shapes. I want Snow Bear, for as big as a bear he is, he's the largest carnivore on Earth. Polar bears are the largest land carnivore on Earth. I want him to feel like a tiny little dot in a giant empty landscape, because we really want to accentuate his loneliness as much as we can. I've got a question. If you also, Nick is reminding me, if you like this video, please hit the like and share buttons, because that helps us. It helps us tremendously. And if you're on YouTube, hit the bell icon to know whenever we're live, to post a new when we're posting a new video. All right. So once again, so the idea, the first opening sequence, everything has to be done for a reason, right? When you're telling a story, you don't just throw shots in for willy-nilly. And so those opening shots, the first two shots you see are just a cold, desolate world, big and windy and cold and empty. So that's what we're trying to establish. And then from there, the third shot is we establish our Snow Bear living within this world. That's when he comes up over the ridge, and we see, oh my gosh, there's this character that lives in this world. And then when we go to our title card, now we're back out to a big giant open shot again. Now he's part of that world, but he's just a tiny little speck walking along the bottom. He's this piece of dust in a world of snow. Okay, he's just completely alone. And so then everything we're establishing after that is Snow Bear. Whoops, got this right here. I want to get rid of that. Remind me later. So everything after that, we want to establish Snow Bear's daily life. You know, the first shot you see he's wandering. Then the next shot he's found a whale kind of caught in the ice, and he's just eating. He's having his meal. He's looking around, no one around. He's by himself. Next shot after that, he's just wandering the ice again. Next shot after that, he's just sitting there doing snow angels. He's bored. I want it to feel kind of sad that he's just alone. And then the next thing you see, he's just swimming, amongst the ice floes, swimming through the water. And then we see him up on that ridge looking up at the northern lights. and he stands up and he's just like, oh my God, I'm so bored. And he just falls and slides down this hill alone. And that's when the cornice that he's sitting on that cliff, the snow gives way and he falls down this snow embankment, and he gets the inspiration later on to make Snow Bear. But anyway, so that's those first few shots. It's establishing the world, and then it's establishing him within that world. That's the big part. And so now I want to draw that world. The Twitch comment: there's perfect timing. I just started your course on drawing bears, and it's really helpful. I'm actually doing polar bears today. That's awesome. Well, we're not really going to be drawing polar bears as much as we're drawing our polar bears landscape. So I'm going to take some of these images. This is I really love this one. Lyndon Ruddy, who does our storyboarding course for us. If you go to creatureartteacher.com and look up our storyboarding course, Lyndon Ruddy is the one that did the course for us. And he's also the guy that storyboarded Snow Bear for us. And the way that we did that is we all got together. You know, we had the initial concept. Nick and I worked it out. Had the idea, kind of fleshed it out, and then we brought Lyndon in along with Ronnie Williford, and we spent a weekend in a hotel room working out all the beats of Snow Bear. And then Lyndon went away while I went off doing other things, and Lyndon went away, and while he was doing other things as well, he storyboarded it for us. And so we've got the first pass put together, and then we're going to make some notes on that, and we're going to refine it and reboard it again. But these are some of the boards that Lyndon did for us. These are actually photos that he pulled and just used them as inspiration, and we put Snow Bear in them. This is a glacier, or an iceberg. This is a giant iceberg from Antarctica. And obviously polar bears aren't in Antarctica, but what we did love about this was just the mass, the size of it. So I want to take that as inspiration, and I want to just turn these into granite cliffs, and then we'll turn it into a northern hemisphere image. Okay.
By the way, earlier when you were showing the video, your brother said you're a sad, lonely polar bear. I love it.
Right on. I missed Travis's. Check out Travis Blaise's. My brother. Check out Travis's. He does a live stream every. Let me get rid of these real quick. He does a live stream every Wednesday at the same time. So it's 10 a.m. Pacific, I believe, right, Trav? 1 p.m. Eastern. And he's been doing some really cool stuff with showing how he approaches boarding and staging and all kinds of neat stuff. So here I'm taking this reference and putting it up on my other screen to get it out of the way.
And who will be doing the backgrounds for Snow Bear?
I will.
You will?
Yeah, I'm going to be doing a little of everything. And we're going to see how it goes. If it becomes too much work, then we'll probably approach a few people that I have in mind.
Hi, Jesse.
I love this color. I want to get some of that in there. But in the beginning, I'm not going to introduce any warmth into it yet. The warmth we're going to introduce later on when he's got Snow Bear and they're having fun. So we want it to be cold and desolate, blues and grays. We want it to feel lonely and oppressive in the beginning.
Is this going to be a silent film?
No, it's going to have score. It's going to have sound effects. It's going to have all of that. It's not going to have dialogue. I think you might be talking about that. Is it going to have dialogue?
Yeah,
no, it will not have dialogue.
Isn't there a particular word or name of that type of film where there's sound but there's no vocals, there's no dialogue, no monologues or anything?
Yeah, it's no dialogue.
That's it? No, like no dialogue?
Yeah.
I thought there was like a fancy word for it or something.
So
and Tim Hodge was here. He said hey real quick, but he had to cut out early. But he said to watch the rest later. He says the film is looking great.
Well, thank you. I'm going to just do this 16 by 9 at this point.
And Kirk Michael's asking, can you remember a movie called Robinson Crusoe on Mars? Robinson Crusoe on Mars.
I'm going to do this. I'm going to actually do this at standard widescreen. So it's 1 high by 1.85 wide. So I'm just going to do 1.85 inches by 1 inch high, and then I'll change because I don't know. There we go. So that's the actual standard widescreen format that we always did at Disney. And then file image size. I'm just going to change that width now to 20 inches. That makes it 10.811 inches high. So there we go. So that's our actual format right there. I'm going to lay that in a nice blue gray into the background. And I'm just going to experiment right now. I'm going to explore trying to find some nice big dramatic shapes. I'm going to thumbnail, basically, is what I'm going to do. And then once I find a shape that I like, and then we're going to run with it.
Can you remember a movie called Robinson Crusoe on Mars?
Oh, sorry. I kind of do.
And by the way, your brother, Uncle Travis, says 11 a.m.
Oh, 11 a.m. Sorry.
11.
Oh, 11. So that makes it 2 o'clock our time.
Yep.
All right. So I want big expanse, and I'll probably want to do some pans. So I might make it a little wider. Make it a little wider so we can pan. And I want these big shapes. And lots of layers, lots of distance.
Yeah, Travis also says, I love that you're doing this layout as a live demo.
Thanks. Yeah, I really want to find. It's really finding patterns of light and dark. There's a nice. What I want to do is find a nice. There we go. So if we go in, if I go in underneath, do foreground.
Travis is asking, how can you talk about how you would approach a layout when it comes to big establishing shot and camera move pixel ratios, character size, and how it relates to the layout?
Say that again.
Can you talk about how you would approach a layout when it comes to big establishing shots and camera move pixel ratios, character size, and how it relates to the layout?
Oh,
like basically
well,
how
as far as ratios go, as far as like if I have different layers, if that's what you're asking, and you're doing a move and you want to give the illusion of depth, I don't know the formula for that. That's something Bob, my directing partner, he always kind of knew, but even he, a lot of times we just did it until it felt right. And so, with
All right.
yeah, I just put that on the wrong layer. There we go. So, and if it's a really big layout, um, one of the things I want to make sure is that I'm not. Uh, I'm not having this. If I have a small character in there, I don't want to shrink it down so much that the lines become imperceptible. So there's a certain level that you can shrink them down. So it's at some point I'm going to have to draw them. I'm going to have to animate them small. So I can't animate them large and then just shrink them down. If that makes sense. I'm not sure if I'm explaining that right. But. So here, I'm just experimenting with value. Go a little darker with that. Just experimenting with value.
Jesse just wrote hashtag wrong layer club. Yeah, we've all been there before, being on the wrong layer.
Oh yeah.
And in the movie on Mars, Kirk Michael explains that it's a guy and a monkey stranded on Mars. It's a 50s movie where the monkey's name was Mona, and it's a great classic movie.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So what I want this to feel like this is shadow, like we're in a valley. See, I have this other piece coming up. We just don't see the other side, but I want you to feel it. So I want this to feel like this is shadow coming across, and then these big mountains right here are going to be in light, but also being cast shadow right here. Let's do that like that.
What software were used to animate this short film, or what software are you currently using?
I'm using TVPaint. I'm cutting it together in Premiere, Adobe Premiere, but I'm animating it in TVPaint. If I go right here, you can see right here I've got TVPaint right there. Let me go to this test. So this is the original test that I did, and you can see down below these are all the drawings. It's playing back at a slow rate because the number of pixels are so many that this is 4K, so the computer has a hard time playing it back at speed. But if I open this up, you can see there's a lot of drawings in there. These are all the drawings down here, down below.
Currently, for this layout, you're using Photoshop.
For the layout, I'm using Photoshop. For all layouts, I'll be using Photoshop. Yes.
Gotcha. Like all the backgrounds, foregrounds, all that stuff.
Yes, all that jazz.
All that jazz. And all that jazz.
So I'm just experimenting. Want to see what we can get. I want to keep a nice graphic landscape. There you go. So you can see what I'm creating here. Actually, this will go in here. Now I'll just choose some other values.
Kirk Michael's asking, Aaron, are you animating the snow effects too?
Yes, I'll be animating the snow effects as well.
Nice. Does anyone here watch while they while they are at work? I know I'll be fired one day, but hey, it will be worth it.
Don't do that.
Do it.
Don't get fired.
Yeah, do it. I mean, technically, I'm watching this while I'm working. Does that mean I'm getting in trouble?
No. So I'm trying to what I'm trying to do is break up the value structure in my head. I want to balance it out right. I know I want some stone, maybe some bigger rocks over here. Some glacial erratics, they're called. Glacial erratics are giant boulders that were left behind when glaciers covered the earth, and then when they receded, they left behind these big boulders. So I'm thinking about, you can see I drew a light grid over the top of this right here. I broke it up into thirds. So basically this line goes along the third right here. Right there. I have this intersection of these two mountains basically happening on a third right there. I have the break right here in this mountain on that third. I try to put areas of interest on these thirds. Here the center of the valley comes together right about on that third. Just so it balances. I always use the rule of thirds. It tends to be the most successful for me. And then within the thirds, like if I broke this up here even more, you can see I put that peak at that bottom third within the third. So I'm always trying to find different ways of breaking it up, making it interesting, so that ultimately it'll have some interest. So now I want snow in here as well. So I'm going to come in behind, and the brighter snow is going to be up front here. Even though we have sunlight, oops, I'm going to put that behind. Even though we have sunlight, I want it to be cold sunlight. And I could make it gray, but I want to experiment with having sunlight coming through here, just because of the graphic giant nature of it. Now I know it's sunlight and we're going to have blowing snow, but you can still do that. I've been in plenty of instances up north where I've been in blowing snow and the sun was shining. It's the same as being in a sun shower.
Kirk says, I watched Aaron's stream at work on the toilet. It's perfect, but it turns your legs blue.
I've done the same.
Jesse's saying, I use Paint Tool Side to work with. Have you ever tried working with that program before?
No.
It's got a simpler down Photoshop feel.
Never used it.
Never?
Never. So there's our foreground mountain and valley light color. So now we're going to pull back from that just a touch. And we're going to hit it back here. Because as things recede, I want that, the mountain itself, all the values start to come together. Like so. And then we'll have that recede a little bit more. We'll have that there. Actually, I feel like that's gone a little too much. Let me just pull it back.
Is it always necessary to follow the rule of thirds to make a good composition?
No, it's not always necessary. I just find it helpful for myself. There's all kinds of great compositions. It depends on what you're trying to establish. Like, for instance, if I wanted to establish a very small character in a big world, I might do something more like this. I might do, you know,
Kind of like my little bird photo.
well, you might do something like this where it's a giant landscape. You know, you can have a big landscape here, whatever, and way down at the bottom is our eye line, our horizon line, and then here's our little character in a big world. You know, that character might even be smaller, might be this big. You know, so it really depends on, you know, sometimes you want a character to feel completely balanced, completely even more alone, and you can take that composition and I can go, okay, I want this character to feel really alone, and go, boop, put them right in the middle. It's a down shot, and here's their shadow, and they're stuck right in the middle. And now that they're in a completely empty world. There's all kinds of compositions that psychologically say different things. You know, maybe I've got an element. I want something to feel oppressive. And so I've got a big building, like so, and it's in shadow. Let's see here. We got a character coming through, and we got this building right here, and all of this, maybe a couple of windows, but all of this is black, or at least dark. This is all dark right here. Like so. Maybe got a little ground plane right here. And something right out here. I don't know. Something, this is just an abstract shape. But you can definitely have a frame that looks like this, and now all of a sudden your character is kind of backed into a corner, walking through a shot. It can feel really oppressive on your character, or you can have, maybe if you have a two shot between two characters, and you've got one character here, here's their shoulder, it's them from behind, maybe it's the old cowboy shot, they're getting ready to have a shootout. You've got a character right here, and you've got your character right here. Who's the dominant character? Well, you got this guy that's really dominant. And you can use that to your advantage against your little guy that's framed here. You might have a character, on top of the world. Hey, I'm on top of the world. And everything else is down below. It's anything. You really want to think about what's the mood of your character, but also what is the story point that's trying to be told. And so you want to compose your shot in a way that's psychologically going to back up the story point that you're trying to make. In this case, I just want a nice big graphic of this world. And right now, one of the things I'm noticing as I've stepped away and come back, it doesn't feel as empty as I wanted it. It feels
crowded.
Yeah, I've got some nice graphics happening, but it doesn't feel as empty as I want it to feel. I want the sky to be kind of bright.
I'd say that middle mountain fills too much space.
Yep, I think you're right. So that's why we do thumbnails, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we can also do get away with doing lot more. Oh, on the wrong layer. There we go.
What is he currently using to draw? A pen and a tablet? He is currently using a Cintiq, a Wacom Cintiq.
Using a Wacom Cintiq.
Yep, and I just punched in the set cam. And it's a 32 inch, right? It's is it their latest model?
Yeah, one of.
One of.
So there we go. And we got a few over here.
How do you approach picking colors?
Did you say approach?
Approach.
How do you approach?
How do you approach picking colors in a left in Scotland?
I approach, I think about temperature, color temperature. And so in this case, I'm thinking about, it's the Arctic, it's blues, and there we go. I'm going to shrink that up. It's blues and grays and everything cool, violets. But at this stage, I'm really thinking about value. Just value. So there's a group there. This is the process I go through. So I'm going to start another one, and I'll go through. I know in my head what I'm looking for. Somewhat, I know the mood, but I don't know what it's going to look like. I know the feel of what I want. So I'm going to try pulling it down. I'm going to try pulling it way down here.
When setting up a short in TV...
Sorry, go ahead.
When setting up a short in TVPaint, how does that work? Do you storyboard in one file and then split up in different projects? How do you make it manageable?
I do one shot at a time, and then I bring those shots into... as each shot is rendered and brought out, then I cut them together in Premiere. I cut everything together in Premiere. Now here we could have, in this case, I could just do this, just a wide open land. The Arctic is that too. It's just a big wide open expanse. But I don't want it to be just that. I want it to be more than that.
Do you think TVPaint would be good for backgrounds, or do you prefer Photoshop because of its better brushes?
Oh, TVPaint can do backgrounds. I just happen to prefer Photoshop.
Because it's something that you're used to?
Yes, I'm used to it.
Have you looked at the mountains of Torres del Paine National Park for inspiration at any point? They're somewhat similar to the ones you're doing here.
I don't know what I don't know where that is. Tell me where that is.
Torres del Paine. I'm probably butchered the name, but
no, I haven't.
It's in Chile.
In Chile, oh, the Andes.
Yeah, here. These kind of mountainscapes.
Yes. Yeah, that's wonderful. But it's the Andes, it's not the Arctic. And I can definitely pick up some inspiration from there. But why not go right to the source, which is Baffin Island? So this is an interesting one. This is a little bit even right here.
Or a bird coming. These are not the mountains you're looking for. is not the droid you're looking for.
So here's one that's kind of interesting. Maybe I pull down another, just to balance it, like we're looking into a valley, like so. Once again, keeping it simple. This foreground element, I want to have kind of dark, just to see how it plays out. Let me see here.
In your storyboarding class, Adobe Bridge is used for the storyboarding process. Was that used with Snow Bear before Premiere Pro, or do you just use Premiere Pro?
I just use for my personal taste. I use Premiere Pro. Bridge is used, really to organize as well, but this is going to be a much smaller project than like a big feature.
Dustin, what's your favorite Australian animal? I would say a kangaroo.
I'm going to clean this up here. So here I feel like we've got something kind of cool. I'm going to keep the value structure really simple this time. Go.
You're really talented and really fast. I'm a perfectionist to a painful point. A bit of a tricky question, but do you have any tips on how to loosen up? I love the style of your work.
It's taken me years to work the way that I do, so it's something that you just have to. I don't know. Yeah, it just takes years of practice, really. And what I'm doing here, like you'll see me constantly make adjustments here. I work quickly because I don't want to get stuck. Right now I'm trying to avoid evenness. Like I had this rock coming down like so, and it was very even between these two. And so what I'm trying to do right now is find an alternative. There, that's less even. And what we're going to have a value structure receding into the background. So what I'm going to do in the background, I think I'm gonna go light to dark, just to see here. Let's see what we've got. Boy, something smells good out there.
I know, right?
Are you cooking? Oh, you know what? Vedanta got an ice cream maker.
An ice cream maker?
Yeah, we got an ice cream maker. She's making ice cream.
You haven't had one of those in a long time. I remember we had an ice cream maker when we lived in, was it California or was it Florida when we got the ice cream maker?
No, ice cream maker.
Perhaps later. I'm sorry, you want ice cream?
So you want ice cream?
Yes, I love some chocolate ice cream. Perhaps later.
All right, so now I'm going to throw in a layer on top. And does this dress make me look fat?
I was just about to ask the question, who's excited for the new live-action Mulan? So that fit perfectly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's funny. That just popped right into my head.
And that's always my favorite scene in
I know.
the movie. It makes me laugh every single time.
All right, so now I'll get rid of those extra lines.
What's your favorite ice cream? Mine would be Ben and Jerry's Jerry Garcia, or Cherry Garcia. I say Jerry Garcia.
Because it's based off of Jerry Garcia.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
How about yours?
Keeping that nice and simple there. I don't know. God, it's ice cream, man. It's all good.
It's all good in the hood.
Rex on YouTube asks, "Hey Aaron, been taking your perspective course online and loving it. Question, I hear you talk a lot about proportion. How do you define that and what's the best way to apply it to character design? Where proportion, it all really comes down to how it relates to, how is my arm in the right proportion to my body? Is my head in proportion to my body? It's whatever, it's how things relate to one another within a composition, right? And so, you know what, I want to do this. And so, that's what I mean by proportion. You want to make sure that you're keeping things,
What?
just, you're keeping things, I'm trying to explain proportion. I just realized I'm having a hard time doing it. It's how things relate to one another in a pleasing way. When things are out of relation, size-wise, they become awkward, they become out of proportion, I guess. I'm trying not to use the word proportion in my definition.
But you end up using it anyway.
Yes, I did.
How many years did it take to animate Lion King? And what software did they use to animate?
Well, if you're talking about the original Lion King, I'll show you the software.
Piece of paper.
It was this and a piece of paper. We animated it on paper. The new Lion King, I don't know. Alright, so what I want to do now is I want to go here, here. I want to go a little darker, but not too dark, and cooler.
Kirk Michael commented about the talk of drawing loosely. Says, I had a tendency to draw too hard, but I've learned to loosen up with broader strokes and draw from the shoulders. It's much better and more relaxing. Cheers, Aaron.
Cheers. I agree. Just hold on loosely.
Hold on loosely.
Hey, we got 2 sign-ups for the Sarasota event during this stream. Right on. Thank you, folks.
That right there is just awesome.
That's some Star Spangled Awesome right there.
That's Star Spangled Awesome right there.
So here I'm just kind of working out slight value changes. There's another way you can do this. You can break it up. I might do that too. I might experiment with that. I'll show you another thing you can do to make it a little more consistent.
The new line.
There's our mountains right there. That feels kind of good. And then right here.
Apparently, the new Lion King was made using VR technology. It's the first film ever to be developed this way.
Interesting.
Did not know that.
So here, whoops. Doggone it. It gets a little warmer down on the horizon. So there's that one feels a little more successful to me. And then within that, it will have things like this.
Was the original Lion King painted on cells?
Yes, it was. No, it wasn't. It was colored by caps. It was computer colored, hand drawn on paper. Paper was scanned into the computer and then computer colored.
Were you ever approached to work on The Thief and the Cobbler back in the day when it was still in production under Richard Williams?
No, that was before my time.
Hi, Aaron and Dustin. What do you think makes a good story?
Any compelling characters, wonderful worlds. You know, any number of things. For me, it's a good irony. There's a lot of different things, but I think you know, a strong theme. If you have great characters in great situations, then you have the makings for a great story. And if we have blowing snow, we're going to have a kind of filter, blur, motion blur. Let's do it blowing snow. It's blowing sideways, kind of. You know?
It's blowing sideways!
What's that from?
Oh, Family Guy, the weather guy.
Oh. And then
How's the weather looking out there, guy? Looking out there, man. It's gonna rain! How's it going out there? It's raining sideways! Dustin, have you ever tried a VR headset? I have a few times. The very first time, though, I actually got motion sick because it was like a preview sort of thing where you're just sitting in a roller coaster, and the fact that it was a roller coaster, but I had no sense of movement, it made me real motion sick real quick. But yeah, a few years later, actually the last time went to CTAN, which was the year before, I had another VR experience, and that one was a lot more fun. That one I actually had, it was an interaction game. It was really cool. But yeah, very first time I was motion sick. Things that make you go. How about you? Have you tried VR?
Yeah. I didn't get motion sick. Come on, it's me you're talking to.
Exactly. Did you have fun with it?
I did actually. I had a great time. And I drew in it. So there's a background that feels okay. Nick says it's not actually the first to be developed in VR that way. They've been doing, he's talking about Lion King, they've been doing versions of that going all the way back to Spielberg's AI, but it was much more improved for Lion King, and the animation itself was primarily done in Maya.
Yeah, and also didn't they do a VR style production for Avatar?
Oh, I forgot about this. Thanks, Nick. I completely forgot about this. Fun fact about Baffin Island is that all the major mountains are named after Viking gods.
Ooh.
So there's Mount Thor and Mount Odin.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Mount Loki.
For those of us that are just tuning in, I want to tell you about our our 4-day painting workshop coming up in Sarasota, Florida on March 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th. A while back we did a painting course in Manchester, England, at Peckforton Castle. And it went really well. We had a great time. We loved it so much we wanted to do it again, but we want to do it here in Florida. And so we're going to be doing that in Sarasota on March 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th. It's all watercolor, plein air painting. It's very cool. If it's something you're interested in, then go to creatureartteacher.com/SRQ and you'll get more information there. And we're going to have a blast. It's going to be myself, Ronnie Williford, teaching the class, and it's going to be great.
On average, how long does it take to complete a movie at Disney? Say, like, how long did Pocahontas or Bambi?
Between 4 and 5 years. It takes 4 and 5 years to do a movie from start to finish. So here are some more thumbnail ideas. I'm going to do some more.
And to be more specific, how long did it take you to finish all the shots of young Nala?
That took about 9 months. And that was me working by myself. But I was doing other characters too. I was doing Simba, helping out with Simba, young Simba. I helped out with adult Simba in a few spots.
Here and there.
Here and there.
Can your Photoshop brushes be uploaded into Photoshop on iPad Pro?
Yes. And they can be loaded into, with a little bit of adjusting, they can be loaded into Procreate as well. So I'm going to try going the opposite way now, and I'm going to go, once again, I want this big, I love these foreground elements that I'm seeing in some of these shots.
Erica Bay says, looking forward to the workshop.
Erica Bay, awesome. We can't wait to have you.
I actually really like good quality, thick paper and the feel of working with pencils. I'm trying to get used to Photoshop, but do you make your own brushes?
I do. I've got a whole line of them on my website, creatureartteacher.com. Got a whole bunch of brushes. Whoops. Sorry about that.
Yeah, Daddy, have a phone call.
Nope, I don't.
You did have a phone
garbage. It's a
telemarketer.
Solicitor. This is probably a little too enclosed. I don't like that one. So let's keep it open, folks. Let's keep it open.
That's why every time I get those like random telemarketers, I just do a different voice.
Oh yeah.
Like telemarketer calls, I pick up, hello. You're like, hi, is this Dustin Blaise? No, this is his cousin. Dustin is really tied up right now. How can I help you?
I like
Is
doing
Snow Bear
layers. I
your-
want to do layers. Oh, I like that one. What's that?
Is Snow Bear your own project, or how many people work on that?
It's our own project. This is something we've been working on our own for a couple of years. There's 4 of us working on it.
Which place is Snow Bear, the short film, being published, and who is the target audience?
Target audience is anyone that'll watch it. But my target audience is always, for me when I'm doing family films, it's 8 to 12. But your target audience is everybody, really. But it's you never want to lose your young audience. You never want to leave them behind. And it's right now we're just trying to get it made, we'll figure out where we're going to publish it, distribute it, all that stuff. It's just a short, so we'll figure it out after we got it done. Here's one that I kind of like. I like the composition on it. Let's see here.
And Jesse commented, I'll be watching cartoons until after I'm dead. Sounds good. And I'll be right there with you watching those cartoons. Clive Cooper says, just got an annual subscription. It's brilliant. Me and my daughter have started to go through all the amazing tutorials. Which of your brush sets would you recommend starting with?
Just get the original custom brush set. All the specialty ones, you can get those later. Although all the specialty ones are a lot of fun to use. Go.
Mariana Garcia says, I'll be working as a call center assistant for Comcast next month. I'll be asked to bother clients, so if you get a call from Comcast, please be nice. But we have a Spectrum, so might not be getting anything from us. But if you do end up calling us, we will be nice. We might mess with you a little bit.
Nice.
But
I'm not being nice.
At least I'll be nice. The worst I'll be doing is just a different voice.
All that put beauty back in the world crap? No way, man.
At least with telemarketers.
So I'm just going in really quickly here.
Listen, can we hear your impressions of the radio demon from Has Been Hotel? That is a brand new character I need. I want to learn that style. It's like a very like 1920s, 1930s radio.
Oh, is it?
Ah, yes it is.
Ah, the humanity.
Ah, the humanity. All the humanity, all the entertainment. Like I feel like for that kind of stuff, I just need one of those voice manipulators where it can like make your voice sound like it's coming through a radio.
Oh yeah.
Are you working on other projects at the same time, or is all your time spent on this one project? Would that affect the amount of time it takes to finish a project?
Yes, I'm working on lots of different projects at any given time. So that's why Snow Bear has been taking so long to get done, because I'm having to create courses, teach classes, all that kind of stuff, and so it takes time.
Any idea if Crudes 2 is coming out this year? I have no idea.
Know.
What do I look like, a fortune teller? Marvin the Martian. Who's Marvin the Martian?
Yes, he's Warner Brothers.
Oh, that. Wow. I completely forgot about that character. I forgot his name.
Yeah, that's all right. You can do that. You're allowed.
I remember the only lines I remember came from is being the referee in Space Jam. If you don't find a new player, you'll be forced to forfeit the game.
That's him.
Forfeit? Precisely, Sir Altitude.
Disney just announced they're dropping the word Fox from Fox Studios. It will now be just 20th Century Studios and Searchlight Pictures. Interesting.
What? That's a bunch of baloney.
What?
Next thing you know.
What?
What the? Next thing you know, another year or two from now, they're going to change it from that to Disney Searchlight Studios.
Well, they own it.
Well, yeah, exactly. You know them. They like to put their name everywhere.
I do know. That feels kind of like that.
Somebody not confirmed, but somebody mentioned that Croods 2 is coming out December 23rd of this year. Thank you.
Thank you. So you see, by doing these little thumbnails, you can get a nice sense of what it's going to look like without putting a lot of time in.
Yeah,
I'm always thinking abstract shapes at this stage.
Yeah, you're right, Jesse. My Martian almost sounds more like Kermit the Frog.
Here, this is Kermit the Frog.
Kermit the Frog here.
That's you do it better.
It's not easy being green.
All right, let's see here.
I'm a telemarketer. Somebody comments that I got a telemarketer call from an Indian person once. I responded in Spanish, and he then responded in perfect Spanish in an Indian accent. Blew my mind.
Actually, I don't like that. What I do like is this. I'm going to grab this and make it small.
Hey, Aaron, a course on your backgrounds would be fabulous, great chicken licking and bee's knees.
Yeah, we're definitely talking about doing that.
He always wants to blow up the earth. My phone text alert is, "Where's the kaboom? There was supposed to be an almighty kaboom."
That's right. That's right. That's right.
That's right. At some point, I just need to just have a whole day of just binging like different cartoons and different shows, and just try to get the voices down. Another one I've been trying to work on is my Daffy Duck.
Oh yeah.
You're despicable. And my favorite line of his is from Space Jam, when they're looking through for all of Michael Jordan's sports clothing, and they're looking for his shorts, and he opens up the door. The bulldog is like right there, slams the door. I found the shorts.
This one, I think I'm liking this one. Getting some fog in the valley.
So great to see you working on Snow Bear. Do you have any tutorials on how to paint a snow?
How to paint snow? Once again, snow just comes down to paying attention to value. You know, look at the values around it. Snow also reflects light in different ways. So there's no big advice I can give you right now other than really look at snow and look at the way that it reflects light. That's the best thing I can give you right now. Twitch comment: I always answer telemarketer calls in character In character, Mrs. Rosenthal. She's 80, hard of hearing, and thinks that the person calling is a young man who's on his way to help do chores around the house.
That sounds perfect. Chipmunks? Oh, can I do chipmunks? I think he's asking. I don't know, Dad. Can I?
Yes, son. You can do it.
I'm so lonely. I have nobody to call my own.
So now, if I turn this off, now you can start to see kind of that value structure all by itself. Take the lines out. Now I can go in with my darks.
Just to come in. I'll get the helium. There's no need.
There's no need for helium.
Love your art. Can't wait to see snow. Yeah. Oh, snow bear. Oh, added a little like meme image of a bear. Well, not meme, but emote.
Gotcha.
Hey, Gabby just joined. Hey,
Gabby! Gabby!
Gabby! Thank you, Jesse. Snow in Florida? Lol.
Lol. I'm just cleaning up some edges right now.
Gabby just wrote, Hi and bye, guys. Just got back from a long drive. Go to sleep before work. You go do what you gotta do.
We'll see you in March.
We'll see you in a few. Any tips on balancing creating art and having kids? My son is almost 3.
Yes, don't have kids.
It's 3 months old, and I often get the motivation to draw, but I just don't have the time to do it.
Yeah, I know the feeling. But when Dustin was small and my daughter was small, I forced myself to treat it as a job. So and you got to do it whether you feel like doing it or not. That's the key. So when I would come home from work when I was at Disney, I still wanted to have my painting career, and so I would come home, cook dinner, play with the kids, spend some time with my wife Karen, and we'd all have a nice time. And then at night, I'd put the kids to bed. Dustin and Austin would go to bed at 8 o'clock back in those days, and as soon as I got them off to bed, then I pulled out my paints, and I would start working at 9 o'clock, and I worked until I was until I was tired, and I did this every day, and I was able to get paintings done for galleries and whatnot.
Great when Deffy gets his bill blown around his head or blown off by Elmer's shotgun.
It's rabbit season.
Dutch season.
Rabbit season.
Yeah, every time I watch that skit, where Duck season versus Rabbit season,
Yeah.
it makes me laugh every time. And I probably watch that at
when
least
when his beak goes around the back of his head.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
You just see him just grab it and just pull it right back around.
You're despicable.
My other favorite one is when he's playing Robin Hood. He's going zoinks and away, zoinks and away,
I forgot about that one.
and away.
I need to watch that.
Those are the best, man.
Duck season.
Rabbit season.
Rabbit season.
Duck season. Fire.
They're the best. I love it. You do a good Daffy, man. It's funny.
Thank you. Very funny. Let's all laugh at the duck.
Love the Space Jam when they're all getting pumped and ready for the game, and Daffy's putting on like all this medieval armor and a ducky inner tube.
Oh yeah.
Just stay out of my way. Ping.
Oh, doggone it. I'm an idiot. There we go. Put it on top.
What did Disney higher-ups think of Brother Bear once it was out in its performance in the box office and with critics?
I think they were lukewarm on it. They thought it was all right. You know, it didn't do great with critics. It did mediocre in the box office. You know, they had faith in it when we all have faith in all of our movies when we put them out. Ugh, got a beard here in my mouth. There we go. So there's our blowing snow and landscape right there. I kind of like this one. I think I might use this one.
For this, are you thinking about the rule of thirds or other composition rules?
Yes.
Or are you just winging it?
Yes, I was talking about the rule of thirds earlier. Like, you know, this line right along this white is basically along the third. Where some of these intersections are happening on thirds or fractions thereof. So, you know, this rock is basically right on one of the thirds. So I do think about all of that. Yes. This one's got thirds all over it, the one in the upper left. But it's a little too crowded for me, for my tastes. This one it strikes the right amount of simplicity for me.
Daffy Duck greater than Donald Duck. Or is it the other way? Yeah. I'm just going to say that. Daffy
20
Duck
by
greater-
10.81.
10.81?
Yeah.
Jesse says, Brother Bear is by far, all caps, far, one of my top favorite movies.
Thank you.
Mine too.
All right, so I've got a rough layout that I like right here. This is my thumbnail. How long have we been at this? We've been at it
It's
for
2:33.
an hour and a half. So I'll probably go another hour or a half hour or so. But I wanted to show you my process of how I find some of these layouts, and I go abstract. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this short in the Arctic. Is you can get these really big graphic abstract shapes that I like so much. So let's merge. Let's just take those two.
Oh, that's a tricky one. That's another Warner Bros. One. Can you do Pinky and the Brain?
Ooh. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to blow this up. To fit the layout. Because this is my thumbnail. There we go. So there's our rough layout right there. Let me blow it up for you to see. That's the rough layout. And I'll use this as my reference to draw my final layout. And what I'll do there is I'm just going to meld those two together.
I'm hoping I can buy the. Gabby's saying, I'm hoping I can buy the tickets for the Sarasota trip today. Is it going to be similar to England, like as far as bigger picture setup?
Bigger picture setup?
I think so. Like, is it
the
like
difference? The biggest difference, Gabby, between this one and England is that we're not going to have all the room and board figured out for you. Everyone has to get their own hotel, but that enabled us to bring the cost of everything down. So you'll have a bigger choice of hotels, and we figured, Sarasota is great with Uber. If you want to rent a car, you can. If you want to just Uber, you can. Or in some cases, we might be able to pick people up here and there, although that's really kind of sparse. So that's the biggest difference. Otherwise, you'll be with us all day. We'll be providing food during the day, and we'll probably have 1 or 2 night events that we'll be hanging out together. But as far as all of us staying together in one location like we did at the castle, that we won't be doing. So we decided to kind of bring down some of that overhead and simplify it, and we're able to bring down the cost of the course itself. So rather than $2,000, we're able to get it down to $750, which is quite a big difference. So check it out, and I hope we can see you, Gabby. Twitch question: what do you think of movies like Treasure Planet and Atlantis that were very underrated to me? I love them. I think all of them are great movies. I love the directors. I think they're great people. They're great. They're great.
Great.
So I'm going to do these in different layers as well, because I might put some camera moves. So what I'm going to do is I'll paint the whole thing as a single layer. Or not a single layer, but I'll paint the whole thing as a single image, but built up in different layers. And then as I save it, I'll save it as different layers. And that way, when I bring them into Premiere, I can take each layer and build them up and put different pans on them in order to give it a different sense of depth. YouTube question: can we still watch Brother Bear on any site? Answer is yes, on Disney Plus and on YouTube. You can get it on YouTube as well.
Did they take it down on Netflix? I thought it was.
Yeah, it's not on Netflix anymore.
Oh. Shame.
It's a shame.
Well, it's a guy on Google Movies, which is technically YouTube.
All right, so there's our rough layout. And now...
It's all nice and rough.
Rough.
Bark. Oh, man. When we mentioned about Treasure Planet, the other one was Atlantis, right?
Yeah.
It reminded me of all the times I impersonated the mole from anime,
You all right?
brain damage from Atlantis. Like I'd always say the phrase, "Oh, I'm so excited."
So here I'm adding this is the detailed drawing, and I'm going to have a very loose, even though this is somewhat detailed compared to the thumbnails, it's still a fairly loose approach that I'm going to have. I'm not going to be doing any kind of cleanup on the animation, and so I want the backgrounds to have kind of the same feel, so it all melds into the same world. I want it to feel like drawings, basically, is what I want. Getting a little texture in here in the snow. in the snow. Once again, the idea is to keep it. It doesn't need to be super
Oh, Ronnie just hopped in.
detailed. Hey, Ronnie. Ronnie's going to be joining us. Ronnie's my brother from another mother. He's going to be joining us in Sarasota. So here is my ability. I've got the ability now to go in and just going to lay in that initial color and value. And then I can go in and vary it up slightly with, as long as I stay within the value itself.
Yeah, that's weird. I just tried looking for the Brother Bear soundtrack, but it's. Jessie says she couldn't find the Brother Bear soundtrack on iTunes, so I thought I'd check on Google Music, and it's not there either.
That's weird.
The Brother Bear soundtrack is just gone.
Well, I've
Except
got it
on
in my
YouTube.
head.
Well, I'm sure you have it in your head because you listened to it how many years?
Well, we helped write the songs.
Exactly.
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 And then let me turn this on again.
Hey Aaron, how do you recover after spending a few hours on a drawing you end up not liking?
That's a good question.
You know, it's a good idea.
Well, I won't get that far. I won't get several hours into a drawing and not like it. I'll know pretty early on if a drawing's working for me or not. What I'm going to do, I'm going to set this to multiply. There we go. There we go.
There she blows.
So Ronnie's here.
Ronnie is here.
Hey, Ronnie.
Or at least it said that he joined.
Looking forward to Sarasota. And for those of you just joining, March 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th, Ronnie Williford and I will be in Sarasota, Florida, teaching a 4-day plein air painting workshop in watercolor in tropical Florida. If you want to get away from the snow, if you're in a cold area and you're looking to get away from some snow and want to learn how to paint at the same time outdoors, come see Ronnie and I. We'll take care of you. So go to creatureartteacher.com/SRQ, and that's where you'll find all the info. Whoops, didn't want to do that.
Whoopsies.
So there's my first overlay, but I want to get some variations in that paint or in the. So what I'll do is I'll just go in. Here we just go slightly darker. I'm going to work within that value. And I'm going to use my textured brush. Whoops. All right.
How long is the registration for the course?
The course is on the 13th, so the price will go up in a couple of weeks. So you want to make sure you get in early on the early bird pricing. It's going to go up over $1,000. It's not going to go up $1,000. It's going to go up to $1,000. Remember, it's 4 days of painting and We'll be at the Ringling Museum, Selby Gardens, Lido Key, all on the water.
And V just joined in saying, "Yo, players."
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Aaron, have you ever exploded with rage at a crap drawing?
No. Drawings don't deserve that kind of emotion from me. They're just drawings.
No, like, what a piece of garbage. Nothing like that.
No.
This drawing is despicable.
So there we go. So you can see how simple I'm going to keep these backgrounds. So now I want to go to the next layer. Well, that next layer is going to be this snow right here, right? Right? Right?
Right.
Right, okay. So I'm going to knock that back. Now, I'm going to put these guys right here. I'm going to put them in a folder. Foreground.
The Brother Bear soundtrack's not even on Spotify either, apparently. What is going on?
So there's the foreground element. Now we're going to go to the midground, which is the snow.
When drawing, what angle do you prefer to set your tablet to?
Go to the thing.
Yeah, the thing. Yep,
Thing.
right there.
So I've built a stand, and I keep it almost at a 90-degree angle. It's probably at a 80-degree angle, I would say.
Maybe like a 85.
Yeah.
Like a 80, 85 degree.
So now I'm going to do this midground element. And the line I'm using is going to be a little bit lighter. I'm going to set it to multiply. Actually, let me go even a little bit lighter with it. I want it to be a little sketchy, so I'm drawing it a little sketchier. Got a big empty space. Just adding texture to the snow. Interest to the drawing. There we go. That's about all we need right there. I'm just going to go a little bit brighter with that. Just a touch. Touch!
Touch.
And we're going to put a layer underneath. I am going to grab the bigger brush. Just fill this right in.
Dustin, Aaron, have you watched The Witcher? Yes,
Oh,
we
yes.
have.
Oops. That's all supposed to be underneath. Here, we do this. Foreground element goes on top. There we go. Oops.
With that being said, don't forget to toss a coin to your Witcher.
To your Witcher? Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's this song. Toss a coin to your Witcher. A valley of plenty.
Why you say that? Why you sing like that? So here's that mid-ground element. It's the lighter part of the composition. Once again, I try to keep them very simple. I really want these values to be working right. It's all about value structure at this stage. So I can turn that background back on. So you can see how that stands out. Now, as we tie this down.
Jesse says, here's the cartoon version of Bob Ross. 1 second there's a blank canvas. 1 minute later, landscape.
Landscape, baby. Baby.
Brr.
Oh.
Brr. Huh?
What?
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 What? I'm not sure how we're going to number this yet, Nick.
Nick. Bird.
I'm just going to call it Snow Bear Layout 1 right now, and then we'll figure out our naming convention later.
Snow Bear. Microsoft.
Very good. Sound like Japan. So there's that's coming together. I want to jump in right here. And I think.
Did you play the game Witcher?
No.
I played the first maybe like 15-20 minutes of Witcher 3, but I end up getting caught up with other games. To be fair, I'm despicable. I can't stop saying that word now. Despicable.
So I'm just hitting a little bit of value variation in here. Keeping it loose once again. Keep it tight. Keep it loose. Keep it tight.
Keep it tight.
Yeah, you caught that reference, didn't you?
Oh yeah, of course. Same with Slee, man.
Summer Sling, man.
Hey, same with Slee there, brother.
Let me put a little mark on that. What a nice light top to it. Just to round it out. Christian on YouTube asks, how would you add something like the Northern Lights to a drawing like this? Well, first of all, Northern Lights, you need a clear sky. This one's cloudy sky. But I would put them in the background on the bottom layer. There we go. So we got a nice foreground. We've got our midground. And now, remember, all this is going to have snow elements over the top of it.
What was it like being an intern at Disney? I'm thinking about trying it out.
It was awesome. I learned more as an intern than I did my entire college career, it seemed like, at the time. I was surrounded by some of the best artists in the world, and definitely the best animators in the world, and I learned an incredible amount. Good luck getting in. It was awesome.
What was it like being an intern at Disney? I'm thinking about trying it out.
All right, so there's our mid-ground element. Mid-ground.
To the grind.
All right. Now we're going to do our background mountains. So let's knock that back. I'm going to look at my reference. All right. No, that's kind of neat. Kind of like that. Look how, see it when I knocked it back in value? There's something there that's kind of cool. There's something that wasn't there before.
What's this? What's this? It wasn't there before.
What do you like? Do you like this, Dustin, or do you like this better? Like there's a haze over it, like storm. It's pushed back atmosphere wise. There's something about that I really like.
Yeah.
I dig that.
It would definitely pull out that mid ground a lot more. Make it easier to see.
Now I think I might do it with overlay elements between the midground and the background. I'll do animating mist to push it back.
Yeah.
But I think that's really cool.
It's
Yeah, so let's remember that. Nick, don't forget.
Nick, put in a note. Do the thing.
Alright. Set that to multiply.
Kirk Michael says, I think Aaron and Dustin should do a tribute to Bob Ross. Dustin wears the wig and does his voice, while Aaron's left arm paints behind Dustin without being seen.
That's a good idea.
We're just going to paint this nice mountain here. Arm, it's a little more to your right, There you go.
There you go.
We're going to paint this nice little tree right here. Well, it looks like we're making a bush instead. Should make it like this year's April Fools or something. Special guest star Rob Ross, which is his like cousin or something, like long lost cousin.
So here I'm just adding.
Oh yeah, man! Can't
Detail.
forget the happy little trees. Every little tree deserves to be happy.
Might be overdoing it a little bit.
Achilles is out. It's such a cute little plushie with him too.
Alright, down in the snow.
Erica Bay says, Dusty, you did a good job with the camera on the oil painting course. Thank you very much.
She was kidding, Dustin.
Uh-huh. I think it was my first, I think it was our first course using my, my current camera. And I used my, used my camera for all the close-ups, and it was definitely a lot of fun to mess with. Shutting up there.
It's funny. Shooting up there.
It was great. It was fun.
Okay,
Shutting up
there. All right, so I'm slowly getting all this drawn in here.
Recently saw your intended interview with the film Hand Drawn documentary.
Yes.
I never get tired of hearing your stories and wisdom. Can't wait to see that film completed. They got some great interviews.
Oh, there were some really good ones. I'm really anxious to see the James Baxter interview.
Ooh. James Baxter.
Yes. Animation genius.
He's a genius.
I think James Baxter is probably one of the best, if not the best, animator that I can think of in the world. Yes, Glenn Keane's amazing. I love Glenn Keane. There's things that both do really well, and James Baxter, there's a technical side of him that just blows my mind.
A follow-up question from the intern question. Did you ever feel like while you were an intern you weren't good enough at drawing or know enough about animation? Now that there's a small chance of it happening, I'm second-guessing my abilities. Haha.
Yep. I didn't think I was good enough. And I also I didn't know animation. I'd never been taught animation. All I knew was how to draw. The program that I was in was a little different. The program I was in was Disney was trying to take college students that could draw, and they wanted to see if they could teach them animation. And so, lucky for me, I had Glenn Keane as my mentor, and he taught me animation in 6 weeks. My internship was only 6 weeks long, and I had never done animation before, but he taught me enough. In 6 weeks I was able to get hired at Disney. So there you go. If you work hard enough, you can get it. How does having animal characters with human emotions help you broaden the story? I think you're able to do stuff with animal characters that you wouldn't be able to do with human characters. I think it sets really raw emotion at enough arm's length that you can get away with it, I think. I don't know. And plus there's just something that's really appealing with animal characters.
Rigo's got a great idea for us. We could be Don and John Ross. Bob Ross's Florida cousins in Miami Vice suits wearing afros painting ocean landscapes.
Well, Bob Ross was a Florida guy. You know, his show, he taped it right up the road, up in Daytona.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was like 20 miles from here.
Well, to make things more interesting, we would probably be like out on the ocean, like just wearing like surf shorts or whatever, and be like, dude, we gotta make this real awesome little wave here. Don't forget the awesome waves, man. No matter how big or how small the wave, they're always awesome. I almost sounded like Trump there for a second.
You did. It sounded just like Trump.
I'm gonna ride the wave.
It's gonna be the best wave.
It's gonna be the best wave ever. No one can compete with my surfing. He wipes out. That was a fake run. That was a fake run. I didn't do that wave. That was an impersonator. Shutting up now. Erica says that James Baxter's horse animation is amazing.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane. James Baxter is he's a mutant.
What recent movies did you do again?
Well, the ballroom sequence where Belle and Beast are dancing.
Oh yeah,
He animated both
3D.
of them together. Yeah, with the 3D camera.
Yeah, that's a tricky shot.
Yeah, you got all the perspective. In The Lion King, he did Rafiki. There's a scene where Rafiki's got the big bowl and she's
Yeah,
tilting it around.
Yeah.
It's like, man.
So that scene in Beauty and the Beast with that camera pan down.
Yeah.
Was he responsible for both Beauty and the Beast for that scene, or was he?
He animated Beast and Belle
together for that shot.
Yeah.
Wow.
So here is a background. Now you can see how long it takes to do one of these. And it was fun to kind of figure out the layout. Look at the inspiration.
What are your recommendations for choosing a YouTube channel name for a decent artist?
I don't know. I didn't even come up with my own name for my channel. Alrighty then.
Mine's just simply my name, but I might make a whole new channel.
So the first thing I'm going to do is these background, the rocks. Alright.
So class, any questions?
Oh yeah, you got to tell that story.
I already did.
No,
on
you
Monday.
told it to our the folks that paid for their live stream. I guess they have to pay in order to hear the story.
I guess. All we got for now is a taser.
Well, we're getting there on this here landscape.
On this here daggone landscape.
So a lot of you have asked me, do I do landscapes? Do I do backgrounds? And the answer is yes. It's just it's a different discipline. It's a different approach. Question: would you want to work on a live-action film mixed with animation the way Disney did on Bed Knobs and Broomsticks? Yes, I have done that. I've done it on the Roger Rabbit cartoons. Not in the same, it was just minimal live action, but we did it.
Oh, interacting. Or you're talking about interacting animation and live action together?
Yeah.
I just knew for the swinging scene and from the carnival when he's crawling out from getting shot at. Those are the only two scenes that I remember you doing.
Oh, I did a whole bunch of stuff in there.
Oh, really?
And then Trail Mix-Up.
Yeah.
Trail Mix-Up, I animated the first minute of the cartoon.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
That I did.
Like, we're talking about like the raccoons getting into the...
No, not that big pan. I didn't do that.
Big pan,
Just the... I think Rob Corley animated those raccoons, if I'm not mistaken.
Or you're talking about Roger Rabbit himself? Like the whole
So
scene?
when it's Roger Rabbit, Baby Herman, and Mom, when we see them, I animated them for the first minute.
Oh, all three of them?
Up until, yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's how we always did it back then. Up until she cuts him, from hanging upside down.
Yeah.
And once he hits the ground, then it switched over to Mark Henn.
Oh, wow.
And then I did a whole bunch of him later on in the sawmill. And Baby Herman. And the beaver.
All three of them, too?
Yeah. And Alex Cooper-Schmidt did a whole bunch of stuff in the sawmill as well. And Barry Temple, I think.
I always knew Disney was specific to specific characters in the big picture features, but
Yeah, but for shorts, we would just handle all the characters.
oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought it was still each person had a specific character still at that
No,
time.
we just did all for that particular one, for trail. For trail mix up, we did all of our characters in the shot.
So how big was the team for the Rabbit shorts?
When we did Roller Coaster Rabbit, there was only 75 of us in the whole studio, including ink and paint. When we did,
in the studio in general?
yeah,
Oh, wow.
that was our first little production we did. It was the first thing I ever worked on. I was a little 21-year-old, and then when we got, by the time we got to Trail Mix Up, there were several hundred of us at the studio, and not everyone worked on it, but enough to keep the studio busy.
What animated scenes still blow your mind?
There's in Fantasia 2000, and actually in the original Fantasia as well. Night on Bald Mountain still blows my mind. The devil coming up.
Yeah.
But in Fantasia 2000, the Rite of Spring. I think it was Rite of Spring, or maybe that was the original Fantasia. Anyway, the fairy, with all the grass growing off of her.
Yeah, and the way she travels to the.
If you look at that, if you look at the effects animation and everything that went into that, it's insane.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane.
I believe it.
I believe I'm falling in love.
Yeah, because it was that, and like she tries to interact with the mountain, but ends up being a volcano that is like a giant like demon hawk.
Yes, exactly. All of that animation was just incredible.
Yeah.
It's the Britchie brothers directed that.
The animation that blows my mind. I mean, that is a real close second, but the animation that blows my mind is Klaus.
Yeah, Klaus is consistently great all the way through.
Yeah. Just it's the lighting in general that blew my mind about it, because.
But the quality of the character animation is stunning all the way through.
Yeah. The thing that blows my mind about it is, whenever I looked at older or even current 2D animated movies or shows, like if somebody's going to be interacting with something in the background, or if there's a door that's going to open, you can obviously see it's going to be interacted with because it was a different color, or it wasn't shaded properly or anything.
Right.
And also a lot of times the shading of the backgrounds didn't quite match up with the people themselves. There was always inconsistencies.
Yeah.
And yet with Klaus, there was not a one, and they even enhanced it.
Yeah.
To a point where it was just like, it was amazing. And yeah, like the first.
Hold on, real quick. Sorry,
I didn't mean to carry.
No, it's okay. I'm just I want to make sure I get this question before it goes away, because it's been up for a little bit. To its question, it seems like it would be hard to animate something that multiple people are doing because they all have to get the same art style. Well, yeah, we spend a lot of time figuring out the art style. As we gear up for a movie, we get together with the art director and the directors, and we figure it out. But good artists have that ability, and that's why I always tell artists that are putting together portfolios to show a variety of styles in your portfolio, so that so that you have the ability to change your style from film to film. So that's my advice there. What were you going to say, Dustin? I'm sorry.
I was just gonna finish up with the part that made blow my mind the most, surprisingly enough, was actually the very beginning, like the first 2 minutes of the film when the letters being processed.
Oh yeah.
Because that just showed on how amazing their work further on is, because you see all the lighting and the textures and everything that's going on.
Yep.
And the way that the background and the animated objects merge so perfectly together.
Perfectly.
And then from then on, it's consistent like that throughout. Like nothing felt out of place. Nothing felt like it was going to be used any time in the future. Like it felt right.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. I agree. The movie is flawless.
The part that makes me laugh the most is when is the first encounter with Klaus, and Klaus is forcing him to deliver the first delivery. He's like, it's got to be a head. This can't be anything but a head. I'm holding a head. As he's trying to put it in the mailbox. I just love that how quickly that audio
just escalates.
Like
but a lot of that was ad lib. You know, he's just.
Oh really?
Yeah, he's just throwing it out there, and that's the genius of Jason Schwartzman.
Yeah.
He's really good.
Like this is, I'm just going to put in what appears to be some sort of head of some kind. This can't be anything but I'm holding a head.
The other one too, when he's trying to come up with a comeback on the fat kid when he's going away.
Well, you're forget it, you're already gone.
You're gone. You're gone. That's what you are.
Oh, he gets the payback and he puts the coal in his stocking. Who's the loser now, you little brat? Yeah, the interactions between those two are awesome too.
Oh yeah. Can you hear me breathing?
And also, I love the what would you call it? Color science between the two clans. How one has a more bluish tone to them. The other,
yeah,
like they all have like either red hair or they have some sort of red clothing.
Yeah. Good art direction right there.
Oh yeah.
Queen Cheetah on YouTube asks, will you be doing courses on drawing landscapes? Well, funny you should ask. We're doing a live course on landscape painting in Sarasota, Florida, March 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th. And you can join us there if you like. Otherwise, yes, we will be doing some landscape courses on our website. But if you're interested in our live class, it's creatureartteacher.com/SRQ. Man, it's hard to stay within the lines and talk at the same time.
Kirk Michael says the scene that blew my mind in Klaus was when Klaus watches with happiness and the little lonely boy playing with that clockwork toy.
The frog.
Great facial animation, yeah.
I downloaded the score from that scene, and the score from that scene is awesome as well.
Yeah. The part that I loved when it comes to changes in facial expressions has to be with the teacher when the kids are all there and she just does not want anything to do with them, and and the little girl writes her name. She's like, "Yay, that's your name!" Like just not enthusiastic at all.
Yeah.
But the moment she saw this spark in the kid's eyes, they're like, "Wow, this is my name!" Like you see her face change.
Yes.
It's just wow.
It's sweet, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I can talk all day about Klaus. I just love that movie.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I'm so happy they got nominated for an Oscar.
Oh yeah, they deserve it. And I love that the rap party clip that they shared.
I know, right? It's really cool.
And I liked how they did the progression between each of their characters. You saw that when Like, I guess when they got to a certain percentage of completion with each character, like, they would start outlined, but once they hit a certain percentage, they pull a white strip and it colors. And it's like a colored version of them behind the strips.
Oh yeah.
And so once it's 100% complete, by then it's a fully colored version of the character.
Oh yeah. We did that with our characters as well.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I thought that was something that they started with.
No, you fill it in a little bit every day until it's filled in, until it's done.
Yeah. Is that for like the animation or is that for like the coloring?
It's just showing for us it was animation.
That's a pretty cool tradition.
Yeah, it's just a fun way of, keeping the enthusiasm up.
Yeah. How many seats are left for the painting event? Sorry, it just came on board.
We've got enough. I'm not sure. I think we've got 20-ish, something like that. So it does fill up fast though. So if it's something you're interested in, our last one started out a little bit slow, and then like slow meaning in hours, and then within 24 hours it was sold out completely.
Yeah, I think we got 57 left.
50? No, not 57. We're only taking 30.
The look on your face was like, wait, what?
So here we go. So you can see how, starting with that thumbnail, how now we're coming together and we're getting something that's got some nice depth to it. And all of our elements stay on separate layers.
I'm about to drop this live stream and go watch Klaus. Well, my work Wi-Fi doesn't let me get Netflix, but if it did, you guys would have lost a viewer. Honestly, if it's for Klaus,
yeah, we get it.
We would be all for it. And I love how their title card on Netflix has changed to Klaus Oscar nominee.
I know.
I love that.
Pretty dang cool.
Pretty dang cool.
So now I'm going to paint in the background sky.
I love the boatman in that movie.
Oh, I know.
So that's why they call it snail mail.
I'm going to go a little darker. Down below here.
Does movies like Disney's Pocahontas and such continuously make revenue? And does artists still continue to get paid on those movies?
Yes, it still continues to make revenue. No, we don't continue to get paid. But we got paid well when we were making it.
Are directors able to get royalties for making certain movies, or is that only for like the actors?
That's just actors. We don't get royalties. We do get, if you negotiate a good contract, you can get what are called points on the back end, meaning you'll get a certain amount of money if your movie performs, hits a certain amount of money in the box office.
Any ideas on why Klaus didn't get nominated for a Golden Globe?
No idea. I don't know. That was weird to me.
Because don't really know how all that works. Loved Missing Link, but I think Klaus was better. Says Eric Nieto.
Okay, so there's our background. Let's jump over to where we started. So I want to review real quick.
Are Golden Globes and the Oscars run by different groups?
Yes.
That's probably why.
Yeah.
One group
the Golden
like
Globes
Klaus-
are by the foreign press, and the Oscars are run by the Academy of Arts and Sciences. So here are the three little thumbnails that we created, and I'll probably do this one up here too. This one. Might do one of those. These don't take a long time to do, but you can see. So this is the thumbnail that we ended up going with, and then here is the finished background with different elements, so that I can bring those elements in to camera or into Premiere, and I can move those at different rates if we want to put in a little bit of a move. And what I'll probably do is extend the edges, extend the sides out a little bit, so we can add a pan going across. And then the last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put a layer on top, foreground layer, and I'm going to grab, let me turn off some of this stuff here and turn this on. I want to grab some of these clouds, cloud colors. Right there, okay. Okay.
Okay.
And then I'm going to grab my cloud brush right here, okay.
Right here. Okay.
Okay. And then I'm just going to make some clouds.
Hey, were there any scenes in Klaus that made you like teary-eyed?
Yep.
Yeah.
The very last scene of the movie.
Yeah.
That's the one that got me.
The one that got me was
Made me think of my friend Bob Walker.
Yeah. The part that got me was when the vocal song is playing, and it's the little Sami girl.
Oh yeah.
She's writing her new sail. Oh, that part hit
Did
me
it
hard
get
in the core.
Did
Yeah.
it get you good?
Oh yeah.
Right in the
Because it kind of gave me that nostalgia of having that same kind of excitement with the Christmas gifts I would get, you know?
Yeah. Having mom there and everything.
That reminded me of the time when I got the power glider.
Oh yeah. See, now that I have the clouds on a different different level, what's cool is you can see you can add moves to them. So, look, clouds are moving. You see clouds moving?
Oh yeah.
See? You got moving clouds.
Very
I just got to
subtle.
make sure that they're wide enough on the outside that we don't lose them on the edges.
Right. Yeah, because the one to the right looks a little cut.
It is cut.
Yeah, Golden Globes nominated The Lion King. It couldn't have been because of the story. It's just a carbon copy of the original. They just cared about good, stunning visuals, but they think the more realistic, the better, and that's just
just not right.
That's just not right.
No. All right, so we're going to do some background clouds. It's going to be over the sky and behind the mountains.
Aaron, would you be able to zoom into these backgrounds without worrying about pixelation?
No, I'm doing it at a high enough pixelation that they'll be okay.
I'm okay. Hey, Bader.
Peter.
Hey, Bader. You really gotta make it.
There we go. And there, folks, is our first background or layout, official background. As long as it gets bought off on by Nick Birch, my co-director. As long as Nick approves this, there's our first layout showing the desolate world of Snow Bear.
Oh. Quitty.
There it is. So that's the process that I go through. In this version, you really don't have to worry too much about. I didn't have to worry about registration because I don't have any character animation. It's all going to be effects animation over the top. Oh, YouTube question: do you think Milt Kahl would have pulled off the Belle and the Beast ball dance scene? I do think he would have, and I think he would have done it spectacularly. So anyway, this is our style. This is what it's going to look like with the hand drawn, so that the character animation over the top of this will meld in really well, I think. And then keep in mind, Nick just wrote denied.
You're fired.
You're fired. And one thing I can show you is if I put an element between these two, like this. And actually, I'll keep it right in here. And I'm going to go with my airbrush.
Brush is full of air.
Yeah, I'm going to push this back a little bit. Remember we did it earlier?
Yep.
I knocked it back by just changing the opacity. Just putting a little bit of atmosphere back here. Atmosphere back here. Bump, bump. Atmosphere back here.
And so folks are saying, don't forget to save.
Already saved. Thank you.
Are you sure about that?
Yes. There. There we go. That's got a little bit more atmosphere. I like that. A little better. I can always turn it off if we don't want it. Or I can lighten it up. Let me knock back that opacity. Just a touch. There we go. And here it is, blown up for you. That's it. Whoop. So there's our background for today, and we're, like I said, we'll have blowing snow and wind effects and all kinds of stuff. Falling snow, snow blowing across the fallen snow, moving clouds, moving mist, all kinds of stuff. It's going to be cool. And there you go. So I hope you guys learned something today. It was fun kind of doing something a little bit different than what we usually do. I really enjoyed kind of showing you my approach to creating animated backgrounds. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. And once again, if you're really interested in joining us in March, Ronnie Williford and myself are going to be doing a plein air painting course out in the open live March 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th in beautiful sunny Sarasota, Florida. On the Gulf of Mexico. It's absolutely beautiful. Look it up online. Pull up some images. You'll fall in love with it. The beaches are stunning, and that's where we're going to be going and teaching our classes. So go to creatureartteacher.com/SRQ, and you'll find a lot of information right there, everything you need in order to join us. So come on out. We would love to see you. And
Don't forget about Patreon.
Patreon. If you know, we would love for you to head on over to our Patreon page, which, by the way, we need to be doing a live stream coming up pretty soon. If you can support us over on Patreon, you know, every little bit helps us, and anything that you can give enables us to, frees us up to do, you know, various things, courses, live streams, that sort of thing. So if you can help us out over there, that would be great. So that's Patreon/Aaron Blaise Art, right? Or Patreon.com/Aaron Blaise Art. So anyway, I hope you had a great day today. I hope you have a great weekend. We'll see you next Friday. And until then, go out and put some beauty back into the world. Be nice to somebody. take some of this art that we've taught you today and do something good with it. And until then, I will talk to you Friday.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Glad you guys enjoyed this stream, and we will see you guys next Friday. And if you're interested in any wildlife photography, don't forget to check out my Instagram at Dustin_Blaise, and hope to see you guys there as well. And as Dad forgot to say, put your shopping carts away, and we'll see you next time. And until then, Cowboy Bebop. See ya.